Hello everybody and welcome back to the Slow Community YouTube channel. My name is Lynn Rankin and today we are going to continue looking at the Mining in Focus stream that CCP held just a little while ago that I unfortunately missed. And we're going to continue taking a look at phased fields and Prismaticite next.
I've got CCP Nomad and CCP Kestrel here with me, and they are here to talk about the phased fields and the Prismaticite. Gentlemen, will you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm CCP Nomad, senior game designer. I've been working on the features related to new mining sites this cycle. How about you?
Yeah, I'm CCP Kestrel. I'm a fresh game designer now. I was QA before. I've been mostly working on some of the new sites in HiSec and the new mining ships this cycle.
Maybe to just start off with the new sites in HiSec. We were just in one. You saw the large Kernite and Omber site. Those are going to be in HiSec, right?
Yes, they will be in HiSec, but they'll be pretty rare. So you'll probably find them on average one every 16 to 17 systems.
Okay, so not as
prevalent
prevalent
as
we
also make
thought.
them a bit more common around the shipcaster systems in HiSec. So if you want to mine Omber, it might be good to go to those systems.
So we're
that
looking
is
at
really good knowledge to have. I happen to know where the Amar shipcaster is, so maybe I'll do some mining
Amar shipcaster.
Maybe just for those of us that don't really remember having Omber and Kernite sites in HiSec, we removed them a little while ago, and now they're back. Can you tell me what the added benefit of that is?
Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to do was add an exciting anomaly to HiSec, because right now the HiSec anomalies are all static. Ice fields always respawn in the same system all the time on a set timer. And then we do have the really rare rare border site that spawns in HiSec on the edge of HiSec and LowSec in 0.5 systems. But again, they're always spawning in the same predictable systems. And so we really wanted to just add a site that while you're just moving around through HiSec, you can just find this really cool Omber site and make some money. Yeah.
Sweet. Everyone likes making money,
Yeah.
I think. Which is why the new phased field sites are going to be super interesting, because they are going to be very high value, aren't they?
Yes, that's the goal, to make them very valuable. So we are introducing new type of mining sites and new type of mining gameplay, essentially with those sites. So those new sites will be the most valuable mining sites in the game. They will be rare and they will be risky. So those sites you will be able to find in LowSec and NullSec for now. Those are the primary areas where those sites will appear, and their
Wormhole space, do not give up.
rarity comes with the fact that they are so profitable, as in the value of the site is in tens of billions ISK of the ore in the sites, but also those sites will contain the new mineral.
Tens of billions, but also meaning before Prismaticite?
Or new type of ore, which we call Prismaticite, which also will be the most expensive ore there is to mine in EVE. So mining Prismaticite in those new phased field sites will be the most profitable mining activity in the game by far. So making those sites very attractive, but since they will be mostly in NullSec and LowSec, or exclusively in NullSec and LowSec right now, will make those mining operations quite risky, because those sites will expose themselves after a while, letting everyone know that those sites are in this particular system.
So when I had originally covered the Prismaticite, I could only see the 24-hour timer. Since then, that devblog had come out that shared that each site lasts around 40 hours. And once it reaches that 20-hour mark, that's when the site is no longer just scannable. It becomes a warpable beacon in the overview and broadcasts itself kind of like a crab beacon.
So people mining there should be wary.
That is good knowledge to have. CCP Kestrel, can you explain how these sites work? Possibly by showing it off.
Sure, yes. I'm in one of the sites right now.
Really quick, this is one feedback that I had for the devs. Now, I said it on my stream, whether they listened or not. I had a huge problem personally with the bubble that goes along this fracture. It looked too perfect. And one thing that I suggested on my stream, again, I don't know if they listened to it or whatever, is because it was too smooth, it looked too artificial. They needed to jag up the edges, make it look more wild, and it looks like they've done that.
One thing that I didn't show off is like how you get into this site.
It makes it
normally,
look more like it's not
going to be
supposed to belong
discovering it
here.
with scan probes. These will appear very rarely in low-sec and null-sec, and you'll have to, again, find them first with scan probes. And for the first half of the duration of these sites, on average, they'll last around 30 hours. And after it's gone, well, after this fracture's sort of gone past the halfway line, this site will become exposed, and every single person will be able to see it on the map, as well as anyone that's in the solar system. They will be able to see it on the overview and warp to it directly from the overview.
Just have we got an exposed one right now?
Yes, so this one that I'm in right now is exposed. There is also some other ones that are exposed in the system.
And look at all that grade 4
this one I'm in
ore.
Here is exposed.
Deuterium,
and also there's
gneiss.
2 more in the system that we've manually spawned, so you can see that they're here. And if I wanted to, I could just warp to this from the overview instead of scanning it down first.
So what does it look like on the map if you pull that up?
I don't think that is implemented yet.
Putting you on the spot here, sorry.
Oh, there we go, it is.
So we can see here, it gets lit up on the map, just like a crab beacon or a Sino. And we can also see the new 2D map, the Dotland type of layout, where it's going to be so much easier navigating and seeing what's going on.
I wasn't sure if it was.
I'm so excited for that.
Hot, but yes, you'll be able to see that there's an exposed phase field here. And over here, there's another one here, for example, and then there's another one over here.
Is that a specific filter down there?
And there's cloud ring.
That I'm now just seeing.
Yes, there is a mining filter here, and then we also have a
So we have phased field, ore anomalies, ore distribution, class 1, ore 2, and 3. So we should be able to see just on the map what kind of ore is spawning in different areas.
Filter, and then you could also, like, for example, add that to your favorites if you like, so it'll be discoverable on the map.
Favorites.
Sweet, and then you warp into the site. This one is about halfway now. Normally they look slightly different, but tell me about what I'm seeing.
Right, so the site has a rift that kind of goes through it from the start point over.
I do like how they made the inert, unemerged, whatever, still phased asteroids that haven't entered the bubble yet, that haven't breached yet. I like how they made them more visible. They were almost invisible during the mass test. So I'm glad that they made them more visible, and it looks like they made the ones that are collapsed invisible.
Through to the endpoint, where this phased field thing is the start point. So normally this thing that's called the fracture, which is a sphere, that will start here, and it will slowly move through the site down through the fracture until it reaches the end.
Now, I don't know if any of you noticed that.
Slowly this thing
when he's moving his mouse and the whole frame freezes, that is your mouse polling rate. Your mouse polling rate is too high. Eve does not like that. So if you're moving your mouse and your frames hitch or freeze, just like it's doing for Kestrel, reduce your mouse polling rate. You'll see when he starts rotating his mouse and moving it very quickly, you can see the whole frame freezes. But when he's not moving or he's moving more smoothly, it doesn't have that. So reduce your polling rate if you have your polling rate on your mouse if you have that problem.
Well, there is a phased asteroid in this fracture.
CCP, the HDR. Oh my gosh, that's too dark. That is way too dark.
That will become activated.
Please tweak it. It needs to be a little brighter.
So they can then be mined. You cannot mine them when they are
Space
not
is
in
pretty.
the fracture.
Let me
when
see it.
The fracture moves past them, they become collapsed. So this one over here, I'm not clicking on the Prismaticite. I am being bad.
No.
But yes, this one, there we go. This one has collapsed because the fracture has already moved past it. So now it's unable to be mined. It's just stuck there. But this one that my raw core is next to is, it is breached, but we haven't phased it in yet.
So what does the phasing in mean, CCP Nomad?
So what's important in this layout is that the sites cannot be completed by just dropping more people on them, because there's a cadence to those sites, right? Like each site will last, let's say, 40 hours, maybe 50 hours.
That allows all time zones.
Or the Prismaticite specifically will be available in those sites only at specific times, depending on where the fracture is relative to those phased asteroids in the site. So the site cannot be completed fully, and at the beginning it is hidden. So who finds it first has about half of the lifetime of the site to mine undercover, essentially.
So let's say 20 hours-ish.
Let's say, yeah. And that would mean two first phased asteroids, two first asteroids with the Prismaticite will be mineable while the site is still not exposed. After that, it becomes exposed, and those last two phased asteroids are much more viable than the first ones.
Okay, so what CCP Nomad has said is while it's undercover, while the site has to be scanned down, so you have a little breathing room, it's not just a warpable beacon and it's not broadcasted on the map. You can still get a lot of Prismaticite, but the most valuable Prismaticite, the most quantity, is going to be in the latter two when it's more risky.
More risk, more reward.
More risk, more reward.
Now, this particular asteroid that CCP Kestrel was just showing us had a little line saying 10%
it's too
efficiency.
Dark.
Can you explain a little about that?
It's too dark.
Yeah, so normally when this has not been phased in yet, you can only mine Prismaticite at 10% efficiency. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to deploy a mobile phase
Even the
anchor
abyss is brighter
deployable.
than this.
These are fairly cheap. They're going to cost around 5 million ISK to build based on the current
That's
prices.
not bad price. That's not a bad price.
A Rorqual, Orca, or Poipus, so the 3 industrial command ships are able to connect to it to start phasing it in. I'm in a Rorqual, which provides 100 energy, which is enough to phase it in by itself.
No,
The
it does
Orca
not stop
provides 50
warping.
energy, so you'd need 2 Rorqual.
So if you
need 2 Orcas
activate,
instead of a Rorqual.
so if you activate this, and what he's saying here, I think, is you would need some combination of porpoises, Orca, or Rorqual to activate this. From our testing, you only need 1 Rorqual, you need 2 Orcas, or 3 porpoises, or some combination, 2 porpoises and an Orca. Probably the cheapest route is just going to be using 3 porpoises. But activating a mobile phase anchor prevents cloaking, prevents tether. It gives you an aggression timer, but it does not prevent warping.
You'd need 3 Poipuses, or you could also do a combination like 2 Poipuses and 1 Orca.
All right.
Yeah.
And we have a new... I love that you're ahead of me here. I was just going to ask you to show...
We need more user manuals. Everywhere. I need a user manual when I'm hacking. I need a user manual when you're using a probe launcher, so you can know when you have scanned something down and there's now 2 signatures, which one do you scan down? When you are doing hacking, what is a data cache? What is the 8 node rule? What is the 6 hex rule? The data caches have a 60% chance of being something bad, so be cautious. We need more of these user manual tabs.
The user manual, because this is a new addition to the show info window, and it does a great job explaining how this works.
Yeah.
So we were
CCP,
thinking about
I
how
will
to
write the
explain
user
this feature
manuals
because it has so many moving parts, essentially.
for hacking. And
other times in EVE, we explained some complexity on the show info of modules or ships if they had special roles, but here we are talking about a site that doesn't have a card for it specifically. And initial idea was like, let's put some information in the agency as we usually do, and we do it this time as well. But additionally, we wanted to explain some specifics for the Prismaticite or the phased asteroids, how they work,
tells that here
and
too.
the same for the deployable. How does it work and why you should be using it and how to use it. So we came up with this idea of introducing user manual tab in show info window for some specific items where we provide instructions, essentially how to use this thing or how to behave around it or how to exploit it. And we're adding now this user manual only for those new elements in the game, but we'll expand that and we'll be adding them to other items in the game that you can show info on just to explain them better.
Is it going to be retroactively or just new items?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to rewind. Not about the show info. Talking about what CCP Kestrel just tried to do.
On just to explain them better.
He tried, probably just like everybody, with a ship maintenance bay to drag a ship out of the ship maintenance bay, just like you would drag a module out or drag some ammo out of the cargo bay to eject it, to turn it into a jet can. If your player base has one type of behavior and then they try to apply that to something that looks very similar, should work in the same way, and it doesn't work, that's going to be a point of frustration. CCP Kestrel's native action to drag the retriever out of the ship maintenance bay to spawn it in space, and when that didn't happen, that's a quality of life thing that you should change. Maybe there's a reason for it. Please disclose it. Otherwise, add it to the quality of life things.
Better.
Is it going to be retroactively or just new items from here on out?
It's some retroactively for sure. Because, for example, today most of that information is in the item description, and that is usually mixed with the lore, with the narrative. So we want to give this space a specific purpose, just explain what this is and how to use it, while the description can still provide some information about the lore or the narrative of the item.
Super cool. Now, if we go back to our mining side, you have deployed the anchor. You have connected to it, I believe.
Yep.
So what's next?
Yeah, so now this asteroid is phased in. One thing that's worth mentioning as well is the phase anchor has 10 charges. That used one of the charges, and this will be phased in now for several minutes. I've just hopped into a retriever to start mining it. That was in my raw call, just to demonstrate the mining a bit better. But now you'll be able to get 100%, and we can also see some information here that it's phased in now on the bracket, and we also have some information about when it's going to collapse as well. So this will collapse in about 6 hours.
And the collapse is when it leaves the bubble. I wish CCP would give some sort of timer on how long the phased in period is going to last.
If you zoom out now, have you just kind of pulled the asteroid out of the fracture, or is it just like more visual?
It's been phased in. So before it was kind of invisible and it was hard to see it. We might have an example of one that's like a bit further up here.
Yeah, that one there.
This one is not breached yet, so it looks a bit different, but there's different graphics.
They did make that brighter. Like I said a little earlier, I think they did make that brighter. It was almost invisible beforehand.
Each one. So this one here is...
It looks kind of cloaked.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
And so you cannot really interact with it. You can see this information on the expanded tooltip about time until it breaches. So this allows you to prepare a mining operation. Like if you see, okay, the next asteroid will breach in 5 hours, then you have 5 hours to get there. But also,
get your fleet together.
Yeah, but also maybe some hunters have seen that information too, and they will be ready when you come. So you have to consider that too.
Okay. Now, is there anything else we have missed about these sites so far, about how the phased field works
itself?
So mainly this is collaborative site, as it requires multiple roles. Like regular sites, you can just go alone and mine them. Here too, you can go yourself or in a very small group without any command ships, industrial command ships, and just mine regular asteroids, because regular asteroids will be present in this site as well, and those will be
long list in the overview there.
Yeah, and those are all like grade 3 and grade 4, so like the best variants of the ores.
So we've got mercoxite, we've got gneiss, we've got yttrium, I saw spodumene. All those, you can mine it without it being in the bubble. They're just there. You can mine it. So even if you don't want to risk going after the prismaticite, you can just mine out the rest of the site.
That are available. So even if you come here and without intention of mining the prismaticite, you can still make very good money just mining the other ore. But when it comes to prismaticite, you have to get a team. You need at least either one oracle or 2 orcas or 3 purposes to manage the deployable. And you need multiple deployables because they are expendable. You cannot scoop them back.
Yeah.
And you need to plan how to approach this site, right? Because at one time, only one of the phased asteroids will be available. There is a brief window of time where 2 asteroids are available to be phased in at the same time, but it's a very short time, but at the same time, very important period of time where you can drop here and try to mine 2 asteroids at once, although you will have very little time. So it's better to have a lot of people with you.
Yeah.
So you have to take into consideration a lot of factors that were not present in the gameplay before. You have to race against time, you have to plan, you have to coordinate with others.
It's not just hopping in.
this is similar to moon pops for industry folk, except this time you don't need to wait for someone to pop the moon for you.
In your mining ship going out and vibing, this one.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is much more dynamic. So far, the site.
One thing to note, if the phased asteroid is not phased in, you mine it at 10% efficiency instead of that 100%. So the difference with that is if you're mining a phased in asteroid, the different residue calculations apply. But if you're mining a phased out asteroid at that 10% efficiency, residue does not apply. So that's an important thing to note.
What was dynamic so far in mining was only the presence of the sites themselves. The site itself wasn't dynamic in nature, right? It just had rocks, sometimes had NPCs, but that's about it. But here, the availability of the most valuable resource here is dictated by time and has specific cadence that you need to learn and plan around.
Is it possible for NPCs to show up in this site?
No.
Okay.
Not for now. I mean, these sites will be
soon.
risky,
Apollo would like your location
without the NPCs.
Yeah.
I think there might be some NPCs that show up when you mine some of the regular asteroids, the ones that can spawn in like the regular like no security and low security belts. But there's like no difficult NPCs. Like you won't need to bring like a mission.
You're not
going
to need to tank a drifter battleship
or anything like that.
Yep.
All right. Now, I think enough about the phase fields and how they work. I think we've covered most of it. Let's talk about the Prismaticite.
Let's do it. Let's talk about Prismaticite.
Also, isn't it?
Yes, it is a new type of ore. We are calling these erratic ores, and this is the first one.
The first? So there's going to be other erratic ores.
In nature, what's different about it is the fact that when reprocessed, it produces various outputs every time. So could you reopen the show info on it? No worries.
Leave Kestrel alone.
Right, so in the industry tab of regular asteroids, you will see that Veldspar reprocesses into titanium, and you will see the quantity it reprocesses into. When it comes to Prismaticite, you have a list of 8 minerals that it can reprocess into, and it reprocesses, every batch reprocesses into one of those 8 at random, and with random quantity. So you can see the quantities, the minimum and maximum quantities of units indicated in the show info, and the quantity of the output is random between those two values. So in the example here in the top right corner where we have the reprocessing window open, you see that we have a lot of Prismaticite. This is like 1 million batches, right? So 100 million units.
We're going to be rich.
Yeah. And we had to rework this window to support the fact that now the outputs can be varied, that they are not deterministic. So if you have multiple ores dropped here, the window will divide to show which ones are deterministic, which ones are not. And in this tooltip that we are showing right now, you will see the actually modified quantities depending on the facility efficiency and your skills that you are using to see what are the min and max quantities for each of the minerals per batch, right? One batch is 100 units as for any other ore. So that's what's new, right? There is some element of taking a risk to reprocess it in the
are they going to talk now about
trying to make
results?
It more profitable or more valuable, because the Prismaticite, of course, will have its own value depending on the market and the supply and demand. But depending on how lucky you are with reprocessing, you may get more value if, for example, instead of titanium, you will get more morphite or isogen or zidrine instead. So you can try your luck and reprocess
Mining,
it and see what you get, or you can actually control the output.
Okay, so it looks like atmospheric gases is going to remain the material of choice for reactions.
Prismaticite in reactions. So here we are seeing the industry window where we have reaction for unrefined isogen that consumes compressed Prismaticite and requires some low moon materials. Right? I cannot see what moon material is. This one, atmospheric gases, right?
Our four
and the
moons are going
output
to
is
jump
100
up in price.
units of unrefined isogen. So we are introducing a new type of
by how much?
minerals
I don't know.
that are called unrefined minerals, and those are coming as the output of those reactions. So you don't get pure isogen out of this reaction, but rather unrefined isogen that then you have to reprocess into isogen, so that the efficiency of the reprocessing facility and the skills come into play here. And also the unrefined minerals have undetermined quantity on the output.
So we saw here that let's see. Okay, so per batch. So we saw per batch the prismaticite per 100 units of prismaticite was giving 21,000 units of isogen if it rolls isogen. However, we're seeing per batch here, if you're trying to force a mineral result, you get less, which makes sense. You're taking a safer route for it. You're getting a guaranteed output, but it's less. So that's one thing to consider.
They have only min and max, and the quantity varies between, like for each batch. So there's a lot of new complexity for the industrialists to put into their Excel spreadsheets here.
There is indeed. So I can see like a situation where I am in dire need of isogen to make something, and so you'll take the catalyst way and turn it into isogen. So what is the benefit of doing it the reprocessing way?
So to do the reprocessing, you may just get lucky and have a lot more value.
So we're going to see what an apples to apples looks like.
Simply, you don't want to sell it. You can just keep it. And then we imagine like a lot of industrialists will just store the prismaticite itself, because it's a vessel for the potential mineral, right? They can decide at some point what kind of mineral.
So he ended up with 209,000 units. Yeah, 209,000 units of isogen for rolling it. So again, he could have gotten somewhere similar with it, but yeah.
Mineral they need and just provide it
doing like
through the
unrefined isogen route.
But for the reprocessing itself, we imagine that miners that don't necessarily are manufacturers at the same time, they will be reprocessing the ore, they will be training the skills for it, just to see what kind of outcome they are getting. On average, of course, players will figure out what is the value of the prismaticite, and that will be its market value. So reprocessing a big batch will probably average out.
So how is this going to affect the market?
You may want to do that anyway, because you will get more value depending on the market situation.
Okay. Have we missed anything on the prismaticite?
So they got silent for a while there. So what I feel that prismaticite is going to do, and again, I'm not an economist. I haven't taken a economy course since my last year in college. So forgive me if I'm a little brash or simple here with supply and demand. Let's say there's not a lot of supply of isogen, but the demand hasn't changed. So the price for isogen is going up and up and up. Capitalistic people could take a look at that and go, I can take my prismaticite, turn it into isogen because I've done the cost. It's going to be more profitable for me to turn all of my prismaticite into isogen, just get guaranteed isogen and sell it on the market. It's going to be better for me to do it that way, which injects more supply. It meets demand, which lowers the price overall. So I don't know. There was a very long pause there. Very long, awkward pause. So I don't know if there's going to be anything that they're going to talk about here, but that's what I think that this would be great for. It would allow the market to self-regulate a little better than what it has been.
Probably
the combination of both.
The most important thing is the fact that you can control the output makes this ore not only valuable as in ISK value, but also valuable as a potential, as I said before. That means that the general market supply of ores or minerals can self-balance, right? Because
exactly what I was talking about.
We had some situations in the past where a specific mineral was undersupplied and in very high demand, and that drove its price very high. And that's not necessarily a good thing in the long run. It's fine if it happens for a short spike, but in the long run, that's not necessarily healthy. But this
An example of long run, short run would be Isogen right now is that long run negative feedback in the market. It's been high for a long time for a lot of different factors. People not mining it, people doing other things with it, not a lot of supply going into it, people hoarding the mineral, all sorts of different factors. The other side of it would be Tritanium during the Battle of BR. After the Titanomancy event happened, Tritanium temporarily shot up in price because everyone needed to rebuild all their Titans. So that would be an example of a short-term market fluctuation versus a long-term unhealthy change in the market.
But introduction of Prismaticite or in general erratic ores that will be reprocessable into various minerals and especially can be controlled into what they are processing will make it so that the market will self-balance, because if specific mineral goes high enough in price, it will be always more profitable to refine Prismaticite into that mineral than others. And this is what players are going to do, and that should impact the market.
All right. I think that covers most of the topics we had for today, unless CCP Castro thinks we've missed anything.
Yeah, I think we've got everything.
Sweet.
All
Then,
right.
just to summarize, the phase fields are going to be in low sag and in null sag. If you want to go ninja mining, you can, because there is high valuable ore in the sites.
Yep.
If you want to go for the Prismaticite, you have to time well and bring people. Plus
Yes.
command ships.
Plus the deployables. You have to be prepared to. I mean, you can mine it at 10% efficiency and you still will come off better than mining or in high sec, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you can make it so that you can mine it at 100% efficiency, then that's the best mining, most valuable mining activity in the game.
All right, so
Okay.
come
All
prepared.
right.
I think on that note, we will close off this stream. Thank you
All
both
right.
for...
So that was the Prismaticite and the phased fields in focus here. This expansion is coming out November 18th. Please let me know what you think about the Catalyst expansion that's coming up. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have this video here that I think you'll enjoy. And if you like this video, please be sure to give this video a like. Leave a comment on what you think of the Catalyst expansion and the new phased fields and Prismaticite coming to the game. Do you think that Prismaticite is going to be a good tool for players to self-regulate the market? Let me know your thoughts. Have a good one.